22nd verse, 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, the 20th through the 22nd verse. 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, the 20th through the 22nd verse begins by reading, "And it came to pass, when they were come into Samaria, that Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men, and that they may see. And the Lord opened their eyes, and they saw, and behold, they were in the center of Samaria. And the king of Israel said unto Elisha, when he saw them, My father, shall I smite them? Shall I smite them? And he answered, Thou shalt not smite them. Wouldest thou smite those whom thou hast taken captive with thy sword and with thy bow? Set bread and water before them, that they may eat and drink, and go to thy master. And if I should use for a subject today, I would have to use even when. Trust God. I need you to feel that in even when you put in your situation that don't make sense, even when that happens, I need you to trust God. Every now and then, God allows us to get in situations where we don't understand it, where it don't make humankind sense, but it makes perfect sense to God. I want you to, when you get in that even when situation, I want you to trust God. Well, this text is caught up in the middle. You remember on last week, we find out that Elisha, every secret is not a true secret. There were some things that the king was saying in his bedroom that God allowed Elisha to know openly. We find out that the king of Syria, he thought that one of his officers was betraying him. And when he found out and he said it to it, which one of you all of Israel? No, it's not us, king. We're good officers, we're good soldiers, and we love you and we trust you. But there's a man of God by the name of Elisha. Whatever thou sayest in thy bedroom, whatever thou say in thy secret place, God allows him to know openly. So what the king of Syria said, he said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and capture this Elisha. I want you to be careful because you might be fighting against something bigger than you are. You can't mess with God's people. You might think you got all power, but we've got a God that has the true all power. He's got power over heaven and he's got power over earth. Satan's under his command. There's none greater than he. He is able to truly control. Well, I tell you what, he sent his soldiers down to Dothan, where they found out Elisha was. And when they got to the Dothan in the middle of the night, we found out that one of Elisha's servants woke up. And when Elisha's servant woke up, he looked out, and there were soldiers all around. And I tell you what, he went to wake up Elisha. Elisha told him, don't worry about this situation, because those that are with us are greater than those that are against us. Elijah prayed, Father, open up their eyes. And they were able to see a fiery host of chariots that was more with him than were against them. Don't worry about being about drawing the short stick, because God, if we're on God's side, there's more with us than there are against us. We just gonna stay in God's will. And then we found out that when God opens the eyes of some of his folks, then we found out that Elijah prayed that he blind the eyes of others. We found out that the soldiers were blinded, and the one that they were looking for led them down to Samaria. You just better be careful when you're trying to fight against God, because you're fighting on a losing situation. The one that you are fighting against might lead you to the country you're fighting against. I tell you what, Elisha led them down to Samaria when the king saw that the Syrians were there. He asked Elisha, and he said, Elisha, do you want me to kill them right here? Elisha said, no. If you caught somebody in battle with your sword or with your bow, would you kill them? No, what I want you to do, I want you to feed them, and I want you to feed them well. And then I want you to send them back home, where we found out that we have a conflict today, even when it does not make sense. I need you to trust God. In the 22nd verse, it doesn't make sense that you turn your enemy and allow him to lead. But whatever God tells you to do, I need you to do it, even though it don't make sense. You remember the God that opened eyes. And then we had a God that was able to blind other folks' eyes. Then we found out in this particular text, we found out in the 22nd verse, the people, the enemies were fed. But then we found out in the 24th verse that they came up against Samaria, and they wouldn't let any food come in, and they were charging them high prices for little or nothing. The inflation was so high because they wasn't letting food come in, and they wasn't letting anything to get out. But you don't worry about it, even when it don't make sense. I need you to trust God. You fed the same folk that wouldn't even come back to allow you to get any food. But I tell you what I need you to do a second time. It doesn't, even when it's not comfortable, even when it's uncomfortable, I need you to trust God. Remember in the 24th verse, and it came to pass at this, that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered up all his hosts and went against Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the 4th part of a cap of a dove's leavings for 5 pieces of silver. In other words, they had high inflation and they wasn't getting enough. I want you to tell you how bad the situation was. It was so uncomfortable that 2 mothers got together And one said, now what we're going to do, we're going to eat your son on today, but on tomorrow, we're going to eat mine. And then they ate the one son on today. And when tomorrow came, the other mother hid the child, and they told it to the king. The king had it rolled clothes on the outside, but he was on sackcloth and ashes on the inside. In other words, he was humbled down. He knew it was in God's hand, but he got mad. Even when it's uncomfortable, I need you to trust God. And he wanted to get mad. Sometimes folk can't get to God, so they're going to try to get it mad at the closest thing they can. Well, the king got mad at Elisha, and it was so bad that he sent for his head. And I tell you what, God's got a plan. And I tell you what, I need you to, even when it's uncomfortable, you need to trust God all the way. You remember in 2 Kings, and I tell you what, the 7th chapter and the 8th verse, I tell you what, I need to pick up the first verse. When they came to the king, you remember on today was the famine. But then Elisha told the king they wanted his head. He said in the first verse, he said, then Elijah said, hear ye the word of the Lord. In other words, it's not my word, but it's God's word. Thus said the Lord, tomorrow about this time, you don't have to worry about high inflation anymore, because you're going to have plenty of food, and it's going to be at regular prices. And I tell you what, when God tells you something, even when it don't make sense, here's a people starving on today, and they think everything's going to be a blessing on tomorrow, and everything's going to be all right. I tell you what, it don't make sense, but God can do it. God can allow the corona to flourish today, and God can clean it up on tomorrow. It's all in God's hand. But the 8th verse picked it up, and it talks about 4 lepers, and the 4 lepers, they was in the Armenian camp. You remember the Armenians, they were surrounding the city, but somehow in the middle of the night, nobody was running after them, but they ran away. They ran in a hurry. They left the silver, and they left the gold. They left the clothes. They ran because they thought somebody was behind it. What I'm trying to say, even when it don't make sense, you trust God. You might feel like you're small, but it can take small, and God can bless it, and it can make an army run, and nobody's behind them. I need you to trust God even when it don't make sense. I need you to grade your own paper. What don't make sense? When God, when you have a need, and I tell you what, you're not able to supply, you're in the prime position for God to work a